In this video, I will discuss two contrasting dissertations relating to the United States invasion of Iraq in 2003. First is a PhD dissertation titled Not Blood for Oil, the Geopolitical Dimension of the Iraq War, written by Christopher Tufts and published in 2008. According to Tufts, the goal of this thesis is to discredit the popular argument from opponents of the Iraq War that the primary goal was an attempt to hijack their rich oil reserves. Tufts comes to four conclusions in this dissertation. One is that Middle Eastern oil producers are intimately bound to their oil industries and for their economic and social well-being, and that the United States was aware that this could cause instability throughout the region. The second is that America has never pursued an imperialist agenda with respect to oil. Thirdly, he contends that the cost of the invasion, along with the poor state of Iraq's oil industry, ensured that the United States would never be able to secure a profit, debunking the theory that America invaded Iraq to steal their oil. Finally, Tufts concludes that America is a nation dangerously addicted to oil, and invading Iraq in order to facilitate a few oil contracts was not a viable solution. One particular source that the author uses to back his argument is a journal article written by Harold Clays in 2005 titled The United States and Iraq Making Sense of the Oil Factor. In it, the author argues that the theory that U.S. policy in Iraq is guided by a strategic interest in the Middle East oil supply is misguided. The second is also a PhD dissertation titled The War Lobby, Iraq and the Pursuit of U.S. Primacy, written by Edward Dugan and published in 2011. The author argues that the invasion of Iraq was part of a larger project by Vice President Dick Cheney and Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld to reestablish the unconstrained use of U.S. military power following the U.S. defeat in Vietnam. Dugan contends that his study is the best evidence against more popular explanations for why we invaded Iraq. These include the threat of weapons of mass destruction, a plan to spread democracy in the Middle East, a desire to protect Israel, or a plan to control and profit from Iraqi oil. This study also challenges the more popular explanation by academics that neoconservatives, such as Paul Wolfowitz and Richard Pearl, convinced President George W. Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney that Saddam Hussein needed to go. Realists, such as Secretary of State Colin Powell, was advising against an invasion of Iraq. Dugan contends that scholars have largely overlooked a third group of hawkish policymakers, the primacists, centered on Vice President Cheney and Secretary Rumsfeld. He claims that both men had a long-standing goal of strengthening the U.S. military and presidential powers in order to pursue U.S. primacy. Dugan argues that it was the primacists and not the neoconservatives who persuaded President Bush to go to war with Iraq. The author uses historical process tracing and focuses his research on the major policy actors involved. He takes a close look at the careers of these men and their public statements throughout the years. Dugan also uses declassified documents, which he claims provide strong evidence that these leaders wanted to pursue regime change in Iraq upon taking office in 2001. Dugan concludes that Cheney and Rumsfeld were convinced that the invasion of Iraq would extend the war on terror, strengthening the power of the presidency and thus transforming the military into a high-tech and well-funded force.